Hi, I'm Esperanza and this is Art from the Heart at St. Augustine's Church. And we are still doing our sessions remotely because of the COVID-19 pandemic. For today, we are still on the subject of Impressionism, and our specific subject today would be a seagull. I just came from Cornwall, and uh, while I was at the Charlestown Harbour, I saw the seagull and took a photograph of it. So we are going to paint the seagull. There we go. And we start by doing a sketch. So here we go. Let me just set it right there. And we start our sketch um, basic shapes. So again, this paper is facing you. So that means on the photograph, okay, I am going to draw this slanted line and then horizontal line, which actually stands for this. Okay, let me just make that a little more bold so you can see it. Okay, on your paper, please try to do it as light as you can so that it doesn't take over the whole image. Yes, you can see here there's a slight bump, but I'm not going to get into that since it's an impressionist piece. So what I would like to see here would be the water, this area where the seagull is standing, and of course, the seagull. Now, for the seagull itself, okay, let me start with a few basic shapes. So one of which would be a circle. Okay, let me just move it a little bit closer so that you can see what I am sketching. Okay, this one is actually a guideline. So that means um, later on when we do our proper sketch for our seagull, we can actually delete this. I mean, erase this. Yes, I'm so used to the computer. Now I say delete. Okay, so that is the body. And then here, we just draw some sort of a trapezoid for the neck, a smaller circle, and here a triangle. Again, these are guidelines. So that means this is not going to be the final output. So here, I'm just drawing a slanted line, followed by another slanted line, and then, oh, the legs. So one leg, that's one. And here behind the tail, another one. Let's make it slightly longer. There it is. That's the basic sketch for seagull. Now, let's do the real sketch again. This impression is so you don't have to have full detail. However, at a distance, when somebody is looking at the artwork, they should be able to recognize that this is your seagull. So here, just a curved line. And then the beak. And then now I am going to erase the guidelines, which I will not be using. Okay. So it's to prevent us from getting confused. Yes, my beak is slightly exaggerated, but again, the purpose of such is for us to be able to identify it. Okay, here. There we go. Now for the wing, sorry. So here I have like roughly like 3 fingers to represent the wings, like so. Oh, and then we have this triangular shape on the tail. Like so. Okay, I am going to erase the excess lines. So again, let me just redraw this. And there is our seagull. So to paint this, I will start with the base where the seagull is standing. And I will do that, yeah, by painting a very light shade of burnt umber. Let me find my burnt umber here. And as you can see, I am using a mop. So if you don't have a mop brush, you can just use your regular round brush, but it would mean that you will be using more of this area rather than the tip, because the tip can be used more for detail. So in this case, I'm using a mop and I'm painting this area with water before I apply a very light burnt umber, very light shade of burnt umber. So just with water, like so. And now I will get myself some burnt umber. Okay, again, very light shade, so that if we feel that it's not light enough, we can just add to it. Okay, because if it's too dark, then lifting the paint would be more difficult than just adding paint. So here, there's some lines going this direction. But again, they're very light. You can actually paint it without painting those lines. And if they're very dark areas, we can just lighten them, just lift the color. Okay, now this is the exciting bit. I will drop some paint, like so. If you can see those small drops, I'm not sure if they are visible on the screen, but it looks like there are small dots on the ground. So we will try to mimic that. Okay, so that is the base. And that is the base where seagull is standing. Okay, now let me just set aside my mop and my eraser, and let's go through this bit, which is the water. Now this water is a little bit dark. However, it's also a little bit green, which makes it that which gives it that more watery image. So what I'm gonna do is to mix some blue paint and drop a tinge of green. So we'll do it like that. Now I'm going to squeeze the excess paint off, rinse my brush, and once my brush is clean, I will be ready to use it. Here we go. Okay, I'm just going to mix that together. Now, to check if this is actually the color I want, I can test it on a white sheet of paper, and this is what I want, so I'm happy with it. Let me just try that so I can flip it back. Okay. And then let me just remove the excess paint on the brush so I can rinse it. Because now we are going to do something similar to what we did here, except here we will not paint the whole surface. So we're going to paint horizontal lines in water. Like so. Oh, fantastic. So I can see the water from where I am. I'm not sure if it can be seen through the screen, but there are lines of water and spaces in between them. Now, for the water, I will start here in the middle and paint elongated X's like so. So again, let me show you how I did that. Here, X. So it's an elongated X. And here, more elongated X. Okay, I'm going to turn it a little bit this way so that it's easier for me. And I'm going to do something similar to the other side. And I'm going to start from here. I'm going to paint this edge first so that there is some color. So, okay, let's do the X's. And as we go closer towards the edge, the density of the X's decreases. So let's just move here. Like so. Oh, fantastic. And there it is, our water, but it's not finished yet. So let me save the rest of that mixture in case I need some more later. So again, I will clean my brush by squeezing it on the kitchen towel. And now I will paint this bit. Now for this bit, let me get something to put it on. Okay, so I am just going to paint this area solid black, and then I'm going to start doing the excess again. Okay, and just like the blue ones earlier, as we go closer to this area, the density would decrease. So that means there are less excess in this area. So we just continue that. Make sure it's balanced. And there it is. Let me just see. Okay, I'm not so happy with the result. It feels like it lacks the denseness of the color. So I am going to add more color, more black paint in particular. So I'm brushing the paper with my brush slightly tilted towards the side. There we go. Okay, I think that's much better. Now we have to work on the other side. Okay. Be careful with the beak. Because the shape of their beak is very distinct. Okay, that's fantastic. Let me just turn it around a bit to see if I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy. Okay. Now let me just move this somewhere. Let me just wipe this, dab it rather, before I move it, just so I can see the bird. Okay. And then, since I still have some blue color here, my mixture of blue and green, I'm just going to add some here and here on the other edge, just to give it more balance. You actually don't have to paint it until the edge of the paper. Okay, now we start painting the bird. Okay. Oh dear, there's a puddle. There's a puddle over here, so I need to lift the paint. I need to lift the paint before we can continue. Okay, here as well. Okay, perfect. So now we've lifted the paint for those puddles. Now I am going to mix some of the black paint, just a little bit of it gray, because of this area over here. So if I paint that area, okay. If you have paints gray, that would be ideal for this color. I mean, that color would be ideal for this area. Excuse me. Okay. I think it should be a little bit darker so that it's identifiable. Okay, what I did there was just to drop some paint, a darker shade. And then now I'm going to do something else, which is to paint some parts of it even darker. Okay. Okay. And then here I just paint it like so. Just drop some paint. Again, it's an impression of what we see. Not a realistic rendition, but an impressions one. Excuse me, let me just have a sip of water. Wow, that's good. And then let me do this bit, which is the head. So we're just putting some lines here, like so. And yeah, let it spread. There are areas where it would spread because of the water. Yeah. Okay. Just a little more in this area. And for the feet, okay, I'm going to use red, but just dilute, really dilute red. Maybe that's too much. I would need to lift that. Yes, in class, what we drew the details of the feet, which is, I think, not really ideal for this exercise. I think it should be really impressionist, more of just painted lines to capture that impressionistic sense. Okay, so now the beak, I'll get some yellow ochre for the beak. Yes, we should have done the beak first, but that is fine. Okay, so now I have this space over here, which I cannot really see. So I can put some blue paint here. Define that area. And a little bit more of that black paint for the feet. So again, just lines like so. And then here again. And let me turn it around to see if I have a seagull here. Yes, I do have a seagull here, but there is something wrong. So let me see. Ah, I see what's wrong now. It's not continuous because this thing here is supposed to continue here. Because the seagull's actually facing this way. Not to the side, but slightly towards the back. So let me see how our seagull looks. I think it looks great. Eyes are a little bit too big. Let me just try and reduce the size of the eye, if it's all possible. So I'm doing that by dropping some water on the eye area, and then just lifting the paint. So in the original piece, it is quite small and gray. And so here's our version of the seagull. So if we look at it from afar, yes, we do see our seagull over there. But if we look at it quite near, we just see some lines and some smudge paint. So that's impressionism. And same with the water. The water looks much better from afar. Also, the ground where the seagull is stepping on. But closely, we will see lines and dots. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope you're looking forward to some more impressionism for in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.